Hey, 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 hey. How is it going, everybody out there? As I always say at the introduction of every video, welcome to my safe Gavin. This live is going to be a little different from most of the other lives that I do here on the channel. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes as a success. Hold up, my charger just popped out of my laptop. Let me put that back in. I don't want the stream to die in the middle of it, or the laptop to die in the middle of the stream, rather. But yeah, this live is going to be very different from most of the other lives I do. Usually I always come on here and I always say, I don't like to do these lives alone. And I introduce a special guest and then we're talking about a specific topic or review or movie or whatever. But this time we are doing the live by myself. I think this is the first time in like, I can't even remember the last time I actually went live by myself. It's been a while. So, but yeah, if you couldn't tell from the title of the description of this live, we're here to celebrate, guys. We're here to hang out and just have a celebration. It's because of all of you that I was able to not only hit 7,000 subscribers, but now I'm a little over 7,000 subscribers. I'm almost at like 7,100. So we're still growing here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. And just so to celebrate hitting this milestone of reaching this point on my channel, I wanted to, hang out with you guys and have a live Q&A, get a little behind the curtain of the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. And instead of actually just talking about a movie or whatever, and which we can still do, but instead of talking about a specific movie, we can talk about a bunch of movies. You can ask me any questions that you might have been burning to have or had, whatever. I'm an open book. So that's essentially what this live stream is going to be about. So hopefully, like I said, with that, I need you guys in the chat, in the comments, or whatever, because otherwise this will be a very short. Oh, I was drooling. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a very short live stream if all of a sudden I'm sitting here by myself and there's nobody in the chat asking any questions or saying anything. Then I'm just be like, all right, I guess nobody showed up. So I guess bye, everyone. But with that said, whether if you guys are in the live, I see there are 9 people in right now. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button on the stream, it'll help with the algorithm of getting this video and out there and letting YouTube know that this live stream is the place to be. So with that said, I see our people jumping in already. Jordan, hey. BGCG, hey, Narius. You talked about my Jonathan Majors background. Yes, I mean, in my mind, Jonathan Majors is my ex-husband, future ex-husband, and I say that because unfortunately most marriages nowadays end in divorce. Like over 50%, I think it's like 51% of marriages now end in divorce. So like, to be realistic, we might get divorced eventually, but we were married at some point. I even made this bootleg Photoshop because I'm terrible at Photoshop, but I put it put it in there on my phone and I keep it there as like, they say when you wish upon a star, they say dream big, go big or go home. It's not going to happen. He's married to a white woman, but like, at least have it in my phone is like a Jonathan Majors-esque. I won't get Jonathan Majors, but maybe I'll get someone similar to Jonathan Majors. So yeah, that's what I got on my phone right now. So yeah, have a gay old time. I hope I have a gay old time in the stream. It depends on y'all, because like I said, if nobody says anything in the chat, then I won't have. There'll be no Q&A. We got a celebrity here in the live stream. My friend Movie Files Elliot, who I call the Nick Fury of YouTube, has gotten so many YouTubers together that I never thought I would have a chance to interact with. People that I've looked up to, which includes Elliot himself, that I've been able to collab with, all thanks to Elliot. And he says, congratulations on hitting 7K. Thank you so much. I'm trying to be like you. Trying to be like you. Question: out of all the new trailers this past week, which movie had the best trailer and which movie are you most excited to see? Indy 5, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or Transformers? Honestly, I think I'm the most excited to see the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because it's the end of the trilogy. It's the end of James Gunn's run now that he's the head of DC. So it's the end of his run with Marvel. Because remember, at one point they were talking about James Gunn not necessarily taking over as the next Kevin Feige, but they were talking about the next phases of Marvel being the more cosmic phase. And so because James Gunn was the start of that with the first Guardians of the Galaxy, he was going to take a more leadership role, but then he ended up getting fired. And then he ended up going to DC, but then they ended up getting rehired, and it was a whole kerfuffle. And now that we're finally getting this conclusion, and I think there's gonna be some deaths. I definitely think Drax is gonna go because Dave Bautista made it very clear that he doesn't want to come back. I keep going back and forth because people say Rocket's gonna die. I keep going back and forth about Rocket. I don't know, but he's not gonna come out of this movie unscathed. So I think because of that, I'm the most excited about Guardians. But I think the second movie I'm most excited about is Transformers. Mostly because I was a huge fan, not so much of the Michael Bay Transformers movie. I like the first one, but the other ones, but I did like Bumblebee. But then also a conversation that I made a TikTok video about this that I feel like most people aren't having with regards to Transformers is Stephen Caple Jr., who is the actual director of Creed 2. He's a black man, black director. He's actually directing this movie. And so just on the fact that you have a black man directing an over $100 million budget movie, which is, there's only like 4 names on that list. Well, now 5 was Stephen Caple. So was Nia DaCosta coming out. So it was F. Gary Gray with The Fate of the Furious in 2017. First black director to direct an over $100 million budget movie to make over $1 billion. He was the first. Then you have Ryan Coogler with 2018's Black Panther, second black director to direct an over $100 million movie, which also made over $1 billion. And then you had Ava DuVernay. She's the first black woman to get over $100 million movie with A Wrinkle in Time. That movie wasn't that good, but I still, root for everybody black, and it didn't make that much money, but she was still the first black woman director to do that. And now you have Stephen Caple Jr. with Transformers, and then also next year will be the second black woman with Nia DaCosta. So just in the fact of that, like, rooting for everybody black. And then plus Beast, like I grew up with Beast. Like I never saw the original Transformers with Optimus Prime, but my Optimus was Optimus Primal with Beast Wars. So I'm excited to finally see like a live adaptation of Beast Wars. So with that's my second. And then Indy 5, like honestly, and this might shock some people in the stream, but I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie. So like I will check it out eventually. Actually, no. I did recently, I think like a year or two ago, I finally watched the first Indiana Jones movie, but I was not really paying attention. Like I was browsing you, not because it was boring. I just wasn't really paying attention. So I need to go back and rewatch it. But because I have no real connection to the Indiana Jones franchise, I'm like, I'll check it out, but I'm not really excited about it. But and I'm about to make it even sadder because I have all the movies. The first one, the second, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think is the second one, whatever the third one is called. Or maybe Raiders of the Lost Ark is the third one. Whatever. I have all the movies on Blu-ray. I just never watched them, which is if you guys have been fans of my channel for a long time, that's like a staple of mine. Like I have movies on Blu-ray that I haven't watched. I have comics that I haven't read. I have books that I haven't read. Like I have audio books that I haven't listened to. It's an issue. But yeah. Love the action figures in the back. Thank you so much. My little collection. You can actually see I got my newest addition to my collection. It's my little Galactus figure right here. Don't ask me how much it costs, but I bought this when I actually had a job, so I was able to. I wasn't able to afford it, but I was able to afford it. Now I'm unemployed, but yeah, like I wouldn't call myself a big collector. There are people that have way larger collections than me, but if I see a figure that I'm like, oh, I want this, I'm gonna buy it. Like right now, I want to because I just recently went to Ranger Stop in Orlando a couple weeks ago. It like reminded me of my Power Rangers love because I was a big Power Rangers fan growing up, and I saw all the incarnations of Power Rangers until we got to Turbo. Like Turbo was when I stopped, and I just recently started because everybody talks about how Power Rangers in Space was like one of the best seasons. I went back and rewatched Power Rangers in Space, and like I actually cosplayed as one of the Power Rangers in Space, the Red Ranger, and it started to remind me of my love of Power Rangers. So I want to go and get all the Black Ranger figures, and I don't mean like the color black, like Black Ranger. I mean like Black Ranger. So Zach, Aisha, Tanya, TJ, et cetera, et cetera. Even the seasons that I haven't watched, I still want to get just the Black Rangers. So to add that to my figure collection, let me center this so you don't see my vacuum cleaner in the background. That looks a little tacky. There we go. But yeah, I just answered. What did you think of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer? I loved it, and I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see what they end up doing with like Gamora, because like the version of Gamora that we know of is no longer with us. She died. Spoilers for Endgame, which if you haven't seen Endgame by now, like what's going on? But like we know that she died, so the Gamora that we're seeing in this movie is from the past, so she doesn't have that connection with Nebula because they connected their sisterly bond and they're acting as sisters again. She doesn't have the loving relationship with Star-Lord and the friends and work relationship that she has with the rest of the Guardians. So I'm curious to see what they do with her. Like I'm just excited about the movie, period. And then like with James Gunn, it's going to be a fire soundtrack. So yeah, I'm excited. Next year is going to be stacked with so many freaking movies and shows. And then I'm curious. I'm a little nervous also what happened because there's a looming writer strike that might be happening next year. So we'll see how that's going to affect. I think it's a television writer strike. We'll see how that's going to affect a lot of the shows that are coming out or that will be coming out in like 2024 and 2025. So we'll see. Question: if you could rewrite the DCEU like your wife Frankie, how would you start the DCEU off? Yeah, I did see that video that Frankie did, and I'll agree with her on this one thing. Like I think the movie should start off like the DCEU should start off in the past with I know she said let's do Martian Manhunter. And I'm trying to think if I would do Martian Man. Well, because I'm trying to think of like a rights issue because I know DC distributes Milestone in their books, but they don't necessarily have the rights to like do movies. Because I was like, I know Icon came to Earth during slavery, and I would start the DCEU with an Icon movie, have it take place during slavery because that's where Icon landed. And so start the movie with an Icon movie, and then jump to, and I want it to be like, I want the new DCEU to be black as hell. Of course, you can still have your staples. Obviously, Superman has to be the staple of the DC universe, so you can still do Superman, but like, don't start with Superman. We already know who Superman is. Introduce us to these other characters that have never had movies before so that they can grow and get established. And then eventually we get your Supermans, your Batmans, your Wonder Womans, your Green Lanterns, because we already know their story. But like, let's do Icon. Then like, let's get Martian Manhunter. Let's do John Stewart Green Lantern, and then eventually do Superman. And I want a Midnighter and Apollo movie. Let's get some gay superheroes. So I would start the DCEU with the lesser known heroes, and then what's their relationship, not like actual connection to like they actually know them, but like their legacy regarding Superman and how Superman is supposed to be the ideal superhero, how they're all trying to be like Superman more or less. Let's see their origins of saying like, oh, I'm a hero now, but I want to be almost kind of like how Shazam was, like how even though we didn't see Superman, but his presence was in the background, and how even though we couldn't get Henry Cavill, how you saw him show up at the end. Like, let it be that, like them trying to live up to these gods of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, but the lesser known heroes and Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman are in the background. So that's my off the cuff, not really thinking about it way of how I would start the DCEU. Of course, if I had more time to think about it, I'll probably change it up a little bit, but that's my live reaction of restarting the DCEU. Make it blacker and make it gayer. That's my motto for everything. And also, now that I think about it, I want to see the freaking Bat family. Give us the Bat. Like, how many Batman movies do we have to keep getting outside of Batman and Robin? But that was like super cheesy. But even still, we finally got the Bat family. But I want to see the Bat family because I feel like people that make these movies keep having this false misconception that Batman is a loner, that Batman is a solitary clandestine warrior. And it's like, yeah, originally, but for the most part, Batman always has a team. Batman always has a family. Like Tim Drake's whole thing, and the reason he became a Robin is because he's like, Batman cannot operate alone. Batman needs a Robin. Without a Robin, he can ultimately become the Joker. He's going to start to become more darker and darker. And that was his whole modus operandi of wanting to become a Robin after the death of Jason Todd. And so I want to see the Bat family in these in the universes. So hopefully eventually when we get like the Pattinson Bat, the second or even the third Robert Pattinson movie, we start to transition into the Bat family. So I want to see Nightwing or Dick Grayson become Robin and then eventually transition to Nightwing. I want to see Jason Todd. I want to see him become Red Hood. I want to see Tim Drake, who's my favorite Robin. I love Tim Drake. Even before he came out as bisexual, which just made me love his character even more. I'm not so much a fan of the writing of his character. And definitely, if you look at the art of his current solo run, the art of his book is terrible. Like, it makes me not want to read it. As much as I love Tim Drake, I'm not reading his book because the art is garbage. But I've always loved Tim Drake. And so I want to see Tim Drake get introduced. I feel like ever since they introduced Damian Wayne, the son of Batman, as the current Robin, Tim Drake has kind of been ignored, both in the comics and in like even live action adaptations, because I forgot. Oh, the Harley Quinn series. I was like, what show is it? The Harley Quinn series. You had them introduce Nightwing, and I think Red Hood is in it too. But then they skipped Tim Drake, and they have Damian Wayne and Harley Quinn, but there's no reference or mention of Tim Drake. And I feel like it's sad because Tim Drake was the first Robin to successfully have his own solo issue for years. And Tim Drake is the smartest of all the Robins. He's the one that's closest to Batman in terms of like a detective. He is the more out of all the Robins, he's the one that's closest to being, the true Batman in terms of like the detective. So like, put some respect on Tim Drake's name. So that's something I want to see in the DCEU as well. So yeah. Question: do you think that the vampire Armand is using Louis? Of course, because Louis was given broken woman at the end of the series. I definitely feel like Louis was in the sunken place at the end, even though it was the first time. Which, guys, I'm not sure how many people are in this stream that maybe are new to the stream, new to the channel. Which I should have introduced myself. I'll do that after I answer this question. But like, if you haven't checked out my interview with the Vampire Reviews, definitely check them out. And then next month, Amanda, Just Bobbin, and I will be talking about the Mayfair Witches. I actually just got the book. I'm going to force myself to read it before the show comes out because I know nothing about the Mayfair Witches. I've always known it was a book that Anne Rice wrote, but I don't know any of I know nothing about it. So to help familiarize myself before the show comes out, I'm definitely going to read the first book. But yeah, I definitely feel like Louis is being held hostage by Armand, and Armand has some type of ulterior motive. I don't think Armand is like actually in love. He might have some type of feelings for Louis, but I don't think he's like in love with Louis. And I don't think Louis is like in love with Armand, even though he said Armand is the love of my life. And if you watch the show, he's never said that about Lestat. He's never said to Lestat, I love you, or I'm in love with you, or you're the love of my life. He's never said any of that, but he said, I hate you. But like, that tells me more that he's more in love with Louis than he is with Armand, because you know how they say it's a thin line between love and hate. So it's definitely some more true love. And like, even just think about how this, spoilers for Interview with the Vampire, but like, even think about how this finale ended and how he flipped out on Claudia. And it was the first time he put his hands on Claudia when Claudia was about to burn Lestat's body. That right there tells me he's in love with Lestat. As much as he wants to deny it, Louis got Stockholm syndrome all around, whether it's with Lestat or Armand. He jumped from one toxic relationship to the next. And ultimately, vampire or not, powerful source of supreme godhood, like compared to me, Louis a god. That motherfucker needs therapy. Like, I don't know if there's a vampire therapist out there or whatever, but he needs it. Hey all, hey Michael, hey Jessica, Jet Screamer, hey dude, hey, how's it going? Which Power Rangers is your favorite? If you're talking about the series, since I just recently watched Power Rangers in Space, I would say that Power Rangers in Space is actually my favorite. I actually just got a little Power Rangers in Space Red Ranger Funko. It's a custom Funko that I was only able to get from a certain person at Ranger Stop. But I love me some Andros, and if you guys have watched Power Rangers in Space, I definitely feel like Andros, who's the Red Ranger, and the Silver Ranger that gets introduced later on, I'm like, they were totally having sex. Like, they're lovers. Like, if you've seen Power Rangers in Space, you know why I feel that way. But like, of course, it's Power Rangers. Although in which I haven't watched it, but like they finally introduced a gay Power Ranger in Power Rangers Dino Fury, the Green Ranger. She has a girlfriend. So we're finally getting representation in Power Rangers, which, yay, I'm all for. Representation matters. And I always say all the time, more so on TikTok than on here, but representation equals normalization, which also, if you're not following me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok, which I did say I was going to introduce myself just in case there are people that maybe have joined this live stream or whatever, because I do have new subscribers. I mentioned hitting 7,000 subscribers. So if you're coming on here, you're a new subscriber. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. Call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. I always say the things I love to talk about has a combination of blood, sex, gore, and magic. And I always like to say decolonize your fantasy. So I like to talk about fantasy movies, sci-fi movies, horror, action, all of that from a Black queer perspective. And I like to talk about Black and queer representation. So that's the bulk of my channel. And then every so often I jump out of that because if you guys don't know, right before I went live, like 15 minutes before I went live, I just reviewed a gay rom-com movie called Spoiler Alert. And it's not fantasy related. It doesn't have blood, sex, or, well, I guess it kind of has sex. Not really. It doesn't really have sex. You see kind of the start of a sex scene, but then they kind of like go away from it. But that's jumping out of my norm, blood, sex, or magic, but it's Black, but it's queer representation. So yeah, if that's something that you guys love, keep on following me, keep on subscribing. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about follow me on TikTok, YouTube is because I like to try to keep the channel separate, because obviously I'm like, why would you follow me on TikTok if you can get the same content on YouTube? Or why would you follow me for those on TikTok? Well, I'm like, hey, follow me on YouTube. I'm like, why would you follow me on YouTube if you're follow me on TikTok when you can get the same content on there? So so on the thing that I do to try to keep them separate is YouTube, I stick strictly to like reviews. So if you want to know my opinion on like the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, if you want to know my opinion about Spoiler Alert of which I will be doing later on, I don't want to do a solo review. I want to actually talk with somebody else that loves the show, because I don't love it. I like it, but Wednesday, if you want to know my review on Wednesday, if you want to know my review on Interview with the Vampire or whatever, Wakanda Forever, that's what YouTube is for. So all my opinions on certain content is what that's for. But if you want to know my opinion on like certain commentary that's surrounding the movies, then that's what TikTok is for. That's where I mostly talk about, like, for example, what's a video that I would do on TikTok that I haven't done here on YouTube? Oh, like there was this white reviewer with regards to the movie Turning Red. So on YouTube, you got my Turning Red review. But on TikTok, there was this white reviewer that came out and said how he didn't like Turning Red because it was told from a Chinese Canadian perspective, and he didn't see himself in this movie or whatever. And I'm just like, and this guy was like, I think he was like a Variety reporter or whatever. And I'm like, and he was a white man, straight white man. And I'm like, that is a trash ass opinion. Cause I'm like, how many movies do Black and brown indigenous folk have to sit through? We literally don't see ourselves, and we're still able to find some type of connection and enjoyment. But because you have a movie written and told by a Chinese a Canadian person about her experience and her life through a fantasy lens. Because she wants to tell her story, you can't enjoy it because you didn't, quote, see yourself in it. That's trash. So that type of commentary is what I do on TikTok. So follow me on, if you're interested in that type of, other commentary, follow me on there. So yeah. Other platforms. TikTok, I have I'm trying to get like I do on TikTok over here, where my TikTok account blew, because I've been on YouTube. February will make 4 years. TikTok, January will make 2 years since I've been on TikTok. My TikTok blew up like crazy. Like, I have over 118,000 followers on TikTok. And so I'm trying to get like that over here, but I'm grateful for every single follower I have, regardless of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, any single platform, whether it's 7,000, 118,000, 3,000 on Twitter. The fact that anybody, because who am I? I'm not a person that works in the industry. I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that likes other guys and likes talking about nerd shit. I don't do this for a living. I'm not paid to do any of this. I'm doing this all for free. I'm unemployed. I'm collecting unemployment. So I'm not getting like, yeah. And so the fact that I'm a non-industry person and people are, interested in hearing my opinion, or the fact that 16 people are interested in jumping in on the live stream. We're not talking about anything specific. We're talking about me. And the fact that people are now 17, the fact that people are jumping in here and interested, and I see I got somebody on Facebook, like, that to me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So yeah. But what is on to the next question? What you say? You are a collector. Got to think about where you started versus where you are and what you have now a lot. I mean, yeah, it's true, but I also think about like people that be having like stacks and stacks of like, and the reason I said I'm not necessarily a collector, because I also think about like how there are people that would like any figure that comes out, people are like, oh, I'm gonna get it. And I'm like, me, I will only get certain things. I won't get like every single figure that comes out, or like how many Wolverine figures have to come out before it's like, all right, enough is enough. Like, let's stop it with the Wolverine figures. Or as much as I love Storm, there are other Black X-Men that they could come out with. Like, give me another figure besides Storm. Give me Frenzy. Give me Sync. Give me Blink. Give me Prodigy. Like, give me Monet St. Croix. Like, there are other Black X-Men that they could come out with as opposed to like the same one. So I feel like collectors, they get every single figure no matter what. But me, I'm just like, I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to. Like, a friend of mine hit me up, was like, hey, you going to get this new Black Adam toy? And I was like, not really. But my fave is Mystic Force and Ninja Storm. Yeah, I've never seen, like I said, I stopped during In Space. Actually, no, because I actually just started watching, because a friend of mine was telling me that Power Rangers Lost Galaxy connects to In Space. And some of the characters, Corone, who was Andromeda from In Space, she becomes the Pink Ranger at a certain point in Lost Galaxy. So I just started watching Lost Galaxy. I'm on like episode 5 or 6 of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So yeah. Do you game? Yes, I do game. I actually just beat and I'm trying to 100% it. So I'm like playing the post game stuff, because there's stuff you can't do until you get to post game. But I actually just beat God of War Ragnarok. So I'm playing that right now. And then eventually there's this game coming out that just came out called Callisto Protocol. I might get Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but I heard it has a lot of glitches, so I'll wait for that to get patched up. There's a game coming out called Forspoken, and a bunch of other games. But yeah, I'm mostly a PlayStation 5 gamer, but I am a gamer. Really quick, see, I got a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, X Triv, for the $20 super chat. Congrats, Mike. Thank you so much. Been a fan since Blurred Vision. Oh, so you go way back, way back. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, and thank you for joining the live stream. Yeah, guys. So with that said, it's not expected. It's not something that I want you to do or whatever. It just is another way of supporting the stream. outside of hitting the like button, which hopefully you guys, I got 22 people in the live stream. Hopefully all 22 of you hit that like button, because again, it helps with the YouTube algorithm. But if you want to leave me a super chat as a way to support the stream, it gives me, I'll go right to your question or whatever. And yeah, it's a way to support the stream. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, it's not expected, but I appreciate it. So yeah, do that. But yeah, Extra, yeah, he goes all the way back to Blur Vision. Yeah, guys, for those of you that don't know, I used to be on a podcast called The Blur Vision. That's actually how I started creating content. It's not something I ever thought I would want to do. It's not something I ever thought it was a career path that I wanted to go towards, because like I originally started my career wanting to be an actor. That's actually what I went to school for. And then one day I was asked to like, hey, you wanted to be on a podcast one day? And then I started we're talking about John Wick 2. And I started to I discovered a new love. And then eventually I branched off to my own YouTube channel. And here we are. And now I'm still growing, getting invited to red carpets and getting paid to do a sponsored video by Netflix and all that stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. Hey, what are your thoughts on the Titans currency? I actually don't watch the Titans. I saw the first season and then I fell off after that second season. When we had that terrible CGI with Trigon, I was like, no, I'm out. I can't do it. And I've heard it's gotten better, but there's so much content right now that's also consistently good. And for me, even the first season of Titans, I thought was okay. It wasn't really something that was keeping me drawn week to week. I was just watching it just because it was a comic book show. And I was like, I feel like eventually I should talk about it. But I was just like, you know what? It's not that So to answer your question, I don't watch Titans. But yeah, hey, I'm pretty new. First time live. Well, thank you so much. Hit the bell notification button so when I go live any other time, you're alerted. But yeah, thanks so much for joining live. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. And hopefully you tell your friends and family and everybody about the channel and tell them to subscribe. But yeah, we've come a long way when we can have a gay couple as stars of the show. Oh yeah, I do know that Tim Drake, Jay Lycurgo, has actually his character is also bi on the show, just like he is in the comics, and they introduced Bernard and things like that, which good for them. And I actually just recently saw another show that Jay Lycurgo is currently on Netflix called The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself. He's also bisexual on that as well, which I actually learned that he's bisexual in real life. So check out my review for The Bastard Son, and then also check it out on Netflix. So yeah, I see y'all got come on, vocals. Definitely need an all BIPOC and queer Power Rangers team. I feel that about a lot of teams. How many all white superhero teams do we have? All white X-Men, all white Avengers, all white Justice League, etc. I want to see an all black team of X-Men. I want to see an all black team of Justice League. I want to see an all black Avengers, etc. Give it to me. And black people like hanging out with each other. You mean to tell me out of all the white X-Men, Storm, Bishop, Frenzy, etc., they're not checking up on each other and saying hey, we should just not even just form a team. One day they're just hanging out and then all of a sudden some shit happens and then they just decide to act on it and they're just wait, we should form a team. Or black magic users, even though there's not really that many, but Brother Voodoo and Storm has access to magic, Blade, etc. They're not forming a team and investigating some magic shit happening in New Orleans or whatever. That's the type of stuff I want to see in comics. I got ideas for days, but nobody wants to hire me. Nobody listens to me. I'll be tweeting CB Cebulski, who's the editor-in-chief at Marvel. They don't listen to me. I'll be tweeting James Gunn too, now that he's the head of DC. I'm give me a Midnighter and Apollo movie. They don't be listening to me, and I don't really have that big of a following on Twitter. So yeah, they don't be listening to me, but I talk about it all the time. Hopefully, eventually, at some point, with you guys' help, somebody will acknowledge and be oh, that's actually a good idea. You don't have to pay me for these ideas. Just fucking do it. Representation equals normalization. Make it blacker, make it gayer. That's my motto. Decolonize your fantasy. I'm tired of seeing just white people. I want black people to be the most powerful person in the room. I want a black gay person to be the most powerful person in the room. I want to see a movie like, or a show like Charmed, where you got the most powerful women and most powerful witches in history. Let that be a bunch of all black sisters. Granted, we had the show, the Latina show, but I want it to be better written, and not, because that show, I was like, I want to support, I want to like it, but I gave it 11 episodes and I was like, I can't do it. But I want to see, but I don't want it to just be one show. Let it be multiple shows. We got multiple white shows. White is not the default. Whiteness is not the default. Like all this type of stuff that I'm saying right now, it's the type of shit I talk about on TikTok. Whiteness isn't the default. There are other people, especially in America. So like, I want to see other types of shows, other types of representation. Representation equals normalization. So just wanted to say, came to your channel for the content, stayed for the shirtless shorts. Big love from Sweden. Yeah, that's just because most of my shorts I take from TikTok, and usually when I make a TikTok video, I'm laying in the bed and I just pop up the video and I'm like, hey, yada yada yada. And for the most part, like I'm in the comfy of my own house, especially if I'm in my bed, I'll be naked most of the time. So like that's why most of my shorts be me shirtless, because I'm like, I'm not throwing on a shirt to make a 1 minute to 30-second or whatever video. So that's why most of those are, but YouTube is a little bit more professional. So I'm even wearing pants, guys. So it's not like the, like the Zoom where it's like top on the you got the top on, but we're wearing nothing on the bottom. Even though I'm starting to get hot, I might have to take these off without nobody knowing. But what show was canceled, only had one season, that should have continued? Oh man, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. You put me on the spot. Eastwick. I really liked Eastwick. I'm not sure if you guys have seen Eastwick, but it was a show about witches. I always love magic. Usually, as much as I love superheroes, I'm more prone to the supernatural side of fantasy. So like, I love like John Constantine. I more gravitate towards that, vampires, magic, werewolves, than I would superheroes. And so Eastwick was about a show of witches, and it only got one season, and I thought it was really good. What else? I can't think of off the top of my head, but I know I can think of another show that I'm still salty about that got canceled. It got more than one season. They got 2 seasons, but Sense8. I'm still mad that Sense8 got canceled. I really enjoyed it. Thankfully, they got to do like a movie, but like that final movie should have been a final season. So yeah, Sense8 and Eastwick are the 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. Wednesday was fabulous. I mean, there are a lot of people that really like Wednesday. I thought it was okay. The only thing that really kept me interested in Wednesday was Jenna Ortega. But other than that, I was just like, eh. But that's the beauty about art and movies and TV shows and everything. Everything is subjective. You might love something, I might hate it, or you might love it, I might think it's okay, or I might love something that people are like, I wasn't really a big fan of it. And then we could talk about it respectfully in the comments or whatever. So like, yeah, I know a lot of people that loved Wednesday, and I appreciate it for the fact that, Jenna Ortega is Latina. You're giving this Latina family, they're a series, leading roles on Netflix. But yeah, it gave me very like Riverdale-esque vibes, and I thought the characters were very like stereotypical, and then also like you didn't really get to know much about like the side characters and things like that. But I still like, and I don't want to say it to make people think, because there's no nuance. Nuance doesn't exist on the internet. Be like, oh, Michael hated Wednesday. No, I liked Wednesday. It was enough for me to keep watching, but I didn't love it. I just thought it was okay. But I'm still interested enough, mostly on the strength of Jenna Ortega, to watch a season 2, because I thought she was incredible. I thought she was fantastic. I thought she was great, fucking phenomenal as Wednesday. But the show in and of itself around her, I was like, eh. Another question: would you create a character from the DCE? Would you create a character for the DCEU if you were in charge? Me personally, I would give Constantine a coven of black witches to go to too often if I was in charge. I mean, I would create more black and gay characters. Like that's, and I've said this a lot of times. Like, if I, as a black gay man, wanted to cosplay a black gay superhero, I don't really have that many choices. Like, really, there's just Aqualad. That's really it. And of course, there's like Prodigy, who's he's bisexual, so that still kind of counts. But like, there's Prodigy, there's Aqualad, there's a character that's hasn't really showed up since the 90s, Josiah Power, who's DC's version of Luke Cage. Again, we haven't seen him since the 90s. And then there's another bisexual character in Marvel called Fuse, who we haven't seen in a long time. And then there's Dark Veil, who's a drag queen. That's pretty much it. So that you don't really have a whole lot of options to like. And like Aqualad has blonde hair. I mean, I don't really have. I mean, I could try to get a wig, but like, but yeah. Renzelis Brown. Wednesday is coming at eventually. Hopefully, sometime next week. Hey, Michael, we know Trek is not really a thing, but Discovery is only the best sci-fi out there with positive black leads. Isn't Star Trek on Paramount? I actually just recently got a Paramount account for free because I know somebody that knows, which I probably should say out there, because Paramount might be watching even though they're not, but I know someone, so I got a Paramount account, so I may end up going to watch. And it's not because I didn't watch Star Trek, or Star Trek's not my thing because it's just like, oh, I don't like Star. It's not because I don't like Star Trek. It's just something I've never was exposed to. Like I was like, say, Star Wars. I was exposed to Star Wars as a kid or whatever. And then other people that I knew were watching Star Wars. Nobody around me or in my circle were watching Star Trek. And so it just wasn't something that I was just exposed to. So I just never decided to go and watch it. And then the thing that really got me into Star Wars also because, blood, sex, gore, magic, the more magic thing they got space wizards with the Jedi, and Star Trek is more strong sci-fi. And even though I like sci-fi, I'm more fantasy than I am sci-fi. So, and Star Trek is like pure sci-fi, but I think eventually at a certain point, I will go and watch Discovery. Star Trek Discovery. Now that I do have a Paramount account. I lost my spot in the chat. Hold up. Wait a minute. Somebody said something about Lovecraft Country and I lost it. Where'd it go? I don't know. I can't find it, but yeah. Anyway, Wednesday was freaking awesome. The parents role did nothing for me though. I don't know why they were cast. I mean, I felt the same way. Like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman. I didn't like them as Morticia and Gomez. Especially Luis Guzman as Gomez. Like, yeah, he looked the part because they went for the original concept of Gomez, but and I also appreciated the fact that they got a brown skin Latino to play the role of Gomez, because you think of Raul, I can't think of his name, but the 90s movie Gomez, he was the more light-skinned Latino, and so I appreciate that they got a brown-skinned Latino to play the role. But like in terms of like the charisma and like to me it just felt like he was just saying lines. Like I felt no energy, I felt no charisma from him as Gomez, and same from Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. It's not to say she had to be Angelica Houston, but like, again, where's the charisma? Where's the charm that like from, and then also I kind of felt the way they portrayed like almost an antagonistic relationship between Wednesday and her parents. I wasn't really that big of a fan of it because they made it seem like Wednesday was just so much of an outcast that she was an outcast from even her parents in and of itself. And it's like, that's not the Addams family. The thing about the Addams family is they're all weird, which includes Wednesday. Wednesday got her quirks and her weird, the fact that she dropped the piranha in the school, the boys swim team. She got that from her parents, but the way they made the show seemed like her parents were kind of disappointed in the fact that she did that. And it's like, no, her parents will be cheering her on and will be happy that she did something like that. And like, it's like, I didn't get that from the Wednesday. They made her so much of an outcast. She was even an outcast from her family. And it's like, but this doesn't make sense from the Addams family that I know. But I still overall enjoyed it mostly on the strength of Jenna Ortega. And then also like the fact that Netflix advertised Wednesday by having a whole drag party and drag event called Wednesday, and there's no gay characters in the main cast or the cast period, which is actually funny because one of the guy that plays Wednesday's main love interest, I can't think of his Tyler. He's actually gay in real life. He's married, got a whole ass husband, is gay in real life. But I appreciate the fact that, you know, you got an out gay actor playing a heterosexual role. That's something that doesn't happen that often. You know, it's usually the opposite, where it's like straight people are always playing gay characters, but gay characters are never really allowed to play, if you're out, never really allowed to play straight. So I appreciate that that's the case, but I'm just like, I find it weird. And not to say everyone has to have, every show or whatever has to have a gay role or in the lead cast or whatever, even though if it's up to me, they would make it blacker, make it gayer. But the fact that they advertised the movie with, you know, a drag ball and calling it Wednesday, and there wasn't a single gay character in the lead, especially with it being a show about a show of outcasts. And this isn't really a big spoiler for Wednesday, but like there was a whole moment between her best friend Enid, her roommate Enid, of like where her parents were like doing like an allegory to conversion therapy because she couldn't become a werewolf. And it's like, you're doing all these gay allegories, but yet there's no gay characters in the main cast. And yet one of the characters had like two mothers or whatever, but they were like inconsequential. They were like the most background of background characters. That's why I specifically said the main cast. So that's also something I wasn't really a fan of. Like, why advertise Wen's gay and there's nobody gay? Like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Raul Julia, there we go. I was like, what is his name? I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, personally, I'll never see anyone do it as well as Raul. And I'm not expecting anyone to do it as well as him. But I'm just like, at least get like, again, every line, it was just like, hey, Wednesday, you did a good job. Like, I felt like every line that he gave was just like it's as if I'm doing, it's as if I was talking to you in the live stream, like, yeah, guys, I just hit 7,000 subscribers today. So like, I'm just here to celebrate. And, you know, I just want to thank you all for being with me. And if you could do me a favor and hit the like button. And I see there are people here in the chat. So, you know, hey, everybody. Like, that's what I got from him the whole time watching the movie. And like, I got more from the actor that played the younger version of Gomez than I got from Luis Guzman. And I don't even necessarily blame him, because a lot of times an actor only does as much as the director tells you to do. So, and we all know Tim Burton is trash. And I also feel like because of the comments that Tim Burton has made, he shouldn't even be allowed to direct people of color. But Tim Burton wasn't the only one that directed the show. And I think episode 5, when they had a bigger role, I don't think Tim Burton directed episode 5, because he only directed the first 3 episodes. So like, either way, I'm like, I think I blame the director more than I even blame Luis Guzman. But yeah, like I wasn't a fan of either one of their performance. Catherine Zeta-Jones is Morticia, or Luis Guzman is but shout out to Christina Ricci. And it's funny, I didn't realize until like the last episode that character was Christina Ricci. The whole time I was like, because I knew she was in it. The whole time I was like, where's Christina Ricci? I know she's supposed to be in the show, but like, she hasn't shown up yet. At first I thought she was the past her ancestor Goody, and I was like, wait, that's not her. I don't think that's her. And then I had to Google it. When I was like, who the hell is Christina Ricci playing in this show? And then I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. She's been right in front of me this entire time, and I didn't even realize it. But if you guys were watching my interview with the vampire reviews, you know, like, there's the obvious seems to go over my head sometimes for whatever reason, because like, even when it came to like Armand, people in the chat was like, no, he's a vampire. And me and Amanda were like, guys, he's not a vampire, he's just weird. So like, sometimes I don't know what's going on. The obvious be going over my head sometimes, but then a lot of times I be predicting shit that other people don't be predicting. So who knows? But yeah, apparently Christina Ricci was the teacher. Did you guys know that? Because I didn't know that until we got to the last episode and I had to Google it. But yeah, congratulations. I just finished Life is Strange 2. I'm into Rocket League and Beast. Life is Strange. I heard that was good. I need to check that out. But what other game? Oh, also there's another game with like a cat called Stray, and you like play as a stray cat who like comes across this like alien backpack or whatever, and y'all become friends, and then y'all like fighting this robotic alien invasion or something. I heard it was pretty good. I heard it was getting good reviews, so I also want to check that out at a certain point too. Then there's a bunch of other games. Like I said, I'm mostly a PS5 gamer, so then there are other games that are coming out for PS5 that I'm definitely excited to check out for next year. They're remastering The Witcher, and I didn't play the original Witcher 3 when it came out for PS4. That missed me, so I want to play Witcher 4 when they get remastered for PS5. So yeah, there's a lot of I still haven't played Cyberpunk 2077, so yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot between all, even with being unemployed, I still don't have enough time because there's so many shows, there's so many things that I'm behind on that I got to review, and then going to Comic Cons and then doing all this. Like, there's not enough time. There's not enough time. The books that I got to read, comics that I got to like. I need more than one me. Like, that's really what it boils down to. I need to clone myself to make another me. And then like watching anime, like I just caught up on My Hero Academia, and if you guys are not watching man, like I just finished binge watching. I'm all caught up now, man. And no spoilers, but that last episode solidified that Bakugo to me is in love with Deku. Because there's no way. I've always said from the beginning that Bakugo is in love with Deku, and that last episode solidified it for me. I'm like, that's my ship. And why does it always have to be gay? Shut the fuck up. Make it blacker, make it gayer. So yeah, Bakugo and Deku, they're totally in love with each other. You were great on Blur Vision. Thank you so much. The come up has been a long time coming. Yeah, I remember saying on that, I was like, one of these days, I want to be able to get movies. How do people get movie screeners? Like, how do people see these movies early? How did it like seeing movies early, going to movie premieres, and now look at me. I'm on the red carpet of Black Panther. I'm on the red carpet of Doctor Strange. I'm on the red carpet of Thor: Love and Thunder. I was there for Black Adam. They didn't let me on the red carpet, but I did get to see it early. Getting WandaVision, all these shows, getting movie screeners. I got to see, I mentioned, spoiler alert, got to see that early. Like, yeah, like I remember, wishing that I was able to do that. And now like it's happening. Now my next step is, because I've gotten a lot of opportunities, especially this year alone, which I'm actually grateful for, because I keep mentioning like being unemployed and getting fired from my job, which I'm not going to go into that whole thing. But a lot of the main reason I got fired from this job is because of doing this. Like, they didn't like that I went to LA to go to see the red carpet premiere of Thor: Love and Thunder. And then of Doctor Strange. And it got worse when I went to go see Thor: Love and Thunder. And I'm not going to go into that whole thing, but like, I bring all that to say, like, since getting fired from my job, I've gotten way more opportunities on that back end of the year, because I got fired in August. But this last half of the year, I've gotten way more opportunities since getting fired than I've had the first half of the year. And a lot of those opportunities I wouldn't have been able to even do had I still had that job. Like, for example, I went to D23 this year in September. Disney paid for my flight. They paid for my hotel, and they gave me a $100 a day per diem for food at the hotel. I wouldn't have been able to go to D23, and I've, given out my card, got to meet people, network, et cetera, et cetera. I wouldn't have been able to go to D23 had I still had the job. Wakanda Forever red carpet premiere. They gave me that premiere invite at such a last minute. Had I still had my job, I wouldn't have been able to go, because I wouldn't have been able to take the days off. So I've been getting so much opportunities since getting fired that, like, how they say, sometimes there's a what's the saying? Behind a curse, or behind every silver lining, or whatever. I don't know what the fuck the saying is. Y'all know what the saying. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But I say all that to say, like, now next year, my goal is to like push it for more paid opportunities. Now I want to get into more, make this into something that I do for a living, as opposed to doing it for fun, doing it, as something that I enjoy. Now I want to get paid to do it. Not blessing in disguise. My friend Jessica, she just texted me. She's like, "You trying to say blessing in disguise?" No, not a blessing in disguise, but like, You know how they say like sometimes like there's a curse. I don't know, whatever the saying is, but yeah, behind every silver lining there's a rainbow. I guess that's a saying. Uh, damn, we getting personal over here. Are you a top or a bottom? It's 2022. Like to be verses in. So that's the answer to that question. I'm like, dang, but I don't know. I'm gonna whatever. Okay, are you caught up on Chainsaw Man yet? No, I'm not caught up on Chainsaw Man yet. I still need to watch Chainsaw Man. I've been actually watching Mob Psycho 100, so I'm actually caught up on that. Hey, Dust Daughters, haven't seen you in here in a while. Dust Daughters, she goes way back to when I like one of my earliest subscribers. So love seeing you in the chat. Congratulations on 7,000 subscribers. When you gonna follow me on Twitter? Wait, you didn't send me. I didn't even know you were on Twitter, Dust. So like, yeah, hit me up. Like, yeah, because like I said, you were one of my earliest subscribers, hanging out, follow me, joining me on streams, joining me in the comments, all of that stuff. So I wouldn't be able to make it to this point without people like you. So, and yeah, Dust Daughters hit me. I didn't even know. Is it the same name? Is it Dust Daughters on Twitter? Let me see. I'm pulling up my phone right now. I didn't even know you were Dust Daughter. I think no, that's not you. That's not you. But yeah, I don't know. Hit me up. I didn't even know you were on Twitter. But yeah, shout out to Dust Daughters. Like I said, one of my earliest subscribers. I remember back in the day when I first started this channel, I was just like, I just hope I can make it to 100 subscribers. Let me get to 100. And then I hit 100, then 200. Now I'm at 7,000. And now I'm like, can I make it to 10,000? Like, even the fact that I'm even at 7,000, I'm just like, what is going on? Like 7,000 people want to hear, like, listen to me. Like, who am I? But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Keep tweeting. They will look. I hope so. I'm still tweeting them. But oh, my sister just is joining. But Boba Fett was a disappointment. Funny enough, because so many people were talking trash about Boba Fett, I haven't watched it yet, but I will watch it because I know Mandalorian season 3 is coming out next year. I will watch it before Mandalorian season 3, but I wasn't in a rush to watch Boba Fett because so many people were trash talking it. And I actually reviewed the first episode and it got no views. So I was like, dang, that's also why I don't review anime on the channel, because I reviewed an episode of My Hero Academia. I think it was season 3 and nobody watched it. It didn't even crack 100 views. So I was like, damn, nobody wants to watch my anime review. So I stopped reviewing anime, and I also didn't review the rest of Boba Fett. And then because I didn't review it, that made me not want, and then because people weren't really, they were talking bad about it, it made me not want to watch it immediately. So, but I will, obviously, because it connects to the Mandalorian season 3, I will go back and watch it. So, Horror Geek, thank you so much. Congratulations on 7K subscribers. Sammy McClinton, another subscriber that goes back to Lovecraft Country. That's when I got a lot of my subscribers. Lovecraft Country is actually how I got to the point that I was able to monetize my videos here on YouTube, because I was getting like, that's back when I had like 2,000 subscribers. I was getting like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views per video. And each video was like 19, 20, 30, 40 minutes long per episode. And people were watching, like, how the little behind the scenes of how YouTube works. The most important thing that YouTube looks at in terms of like pushing out a video or pushing out somebody's content and helping a channel grow, they look at watch time. If you're watching somebody's content for like the duration of the video, or you're making it to like 50% of the video, that tells YouTube that, hey, that video, people are interested in that video, so let's push it out to more people and push it on people's recommended feed. And that's why, like, if obviously you guys are fans of YouTube, so because you're watching this channel, Like, that's why anytime you watch a YouTube channel, people are always saying, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Because you watching the video and also hitting the like button tells YouTube that this person's channel, this person's content, that specific video that you're watching is worth recommending to other people. But the king of that is watch time. That's not even just YouTube, but Instagram is now doing reels, TikTok as well. Like, watch time is key. And so because of that, people were interested in watching my Lovecraft Country videos. And because they were watching the videos mostly to the end, they weren't watching it all the way to the end, but mostly to the end, it hit the algorithm. And so more and more people started watching my reviews. Then they were hitting the like button. And so because of that, like, I started getting more views than subscribers. And so people like Slammy McClinton started, coming on to my Lovecraft Country review. But a lot of the problem with like going viral on certain things, like, once Lovecraft Country was over, everybody dipped. And so that was one of the bad things. That was one of the both great things and bad things about Lovecraft Country, where it's like I was able to monetize my videos because of Lovecraft Country. But then when it became business as usual, and then when I started reviewing Lovecraft, everybody dipped when it came to Lovecraft Country. And now I'm kind of having the same thing happen with regards to Interview with the Vampire, where like my Interview with the Vampire reviews are like hitting. And like, even when I went live, I hit like the most people I've got ever watching a live video. It almost hit, I was at 199, 200 videos. But now Interview with the Vampire is over. Everybody's dipping. Hopefully people come back from the Mayfair Witches, but that's a little behind the scenes of like how YouTube works. Like, they mostly pay attention to watch time. So if you're watching a video all the way to the end, hitting the like button, leaving comments, yada, 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 that pushes the algorithm. And then they'll recommend the video and the stream and the channel to other people. That's why I always say in my videos, watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm, the algorithm. Have you ever watched Secret Circle? I watched some of Secret Circle. I ended up falling off, not because of loss of interest, but I ended up watching something else. Then I never went back. And then I found then once the show got canceled, this is the thing about me. When a show gets canceled, I don't care how good it is, I don't want to watch it, because it makes me like, why would I invest myself so much into a show knowing I'm not going to get more? It's just going to piss me off. That's also why, because I got the first season of Smash. A lot of people told me I would really like Smash because it's like the adult version of Glee. And I'm a Gleek. I'm a Gleek. I love Glee. I've seen every single season. I have Glee soundtrack on my phone of certain songs. Like, I love Glee. It's where I fell in love and wanted to marry Darren Criss, who's another husband of mine. And it was like, yeah, if you really like Glee, you will really like Smash. And so I bought the first season on Blu-ray to watch it. And then right before I started watching it, it got canceled. And so I was like, I'm not watching this show. Like, fuck, like, or even like Swamp Thing. I heard Swamp Thing was really good, but it got canceled like right before the first episode even came out. So I'm just like, I'm not. So because of that, I never finished Secret Circle because of that. What's your top favorite Disney Plus shows? Top favorite Disney Plus shows, probably Hawkeye and WandaVision. I really love the chemistry between Kate Bishop and Clint, and I really love the chemistry between Yelena and Kate. So that really made me like Hawkeye, and I love WandaVision. I didn't like how it ended, and I didn't like what happened with Monica and the conversation with her and Wanda. But other than that, like, WandaVision was hitting like every episode. So those would be my top two. Loki, there are a lot of people that love Loki. Me, Loki would probably be towards the bottom for me, which might be blasphemous. Like, I know Elliot jumped in here from Movie Files. That would be blasphemous for him, because Loki was number one for him. It's not number one for me. And then also what they did with Loki in terms of like the bullshit queer bait. Not it wasn't even queer bait, because he came out as bi or whatever, but it was like the trashiest of trash. I talked about that. That was like one of my earliest TikTok videos that I talked about on there too. I didn't really First Kill should have been given a second season. I heard that was terrible. Like, a lot of people that I follow, said it was garbage, and so because of that, I ended up not watching it. And then it got canceled, so it made me really not want to watch it. So yeah, I didn't watch First Kill. Her real reviews. Yeah, I talked about this earlier in the live stream. I haven't done a Wednesday review. I briefly talked about it here, but I did say, because I'm gonna try to get Sharonda. I want to get on. I want to do a not a live, but a pre-recorded, or maybe I might go live. Maybe we'll see. But I want to get Sharonda on the stream so we could talk about from Pay or Wait, and I want us to talk about Wednesday together, because I also haven't done a video with on, or at least on my channel. I've been on her channel once before, but no, actually, no. I had Sharonda on my. I've never been on Sharonda's channel. She rude, but I had her on my channel to talk about episode 2 of Moon Knight. But yeah, Sharonda rude. But yeah, I want to get Sharonda on to talk about Wednesday. So I was thinking about doing a pre-recorded video, but maybe we'll go live. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, so yeah, it's something I want to like. I don't want to do a video by myself. I want to talk through it because I liked Wednesday. I didn't love Wednesday, so that's why I was like, because I know there are people that really loved it. I really loved it. I don't even know. I'm not sure Sharonda is one of those people, but like, yeah. So because of that, I'm like, you know what? Let's have a discussion. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go live. So with that said, hit the bell notification button. So if I do go live to talk Wednesday, you're alerted. Do you think Enid was queer coded? Ish, mostly because of that conversion therapy line. But outside of that, I don't necessarily think so. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, outside of that conversion therapy, I don't think she was. Yeah, absolutely Lovecraft Country. He didn't say it, but it was definitely one of Michael would have chosen. But he was put on the spot. Oh yeah, Lovecraft Country. Oh yeah, because I was wondering why people kept saying Lovecraft Country. Yeah, Lovecraft Country. That's definitely, in terms of like the show that got a 1 season. Lovecraft Country. I saw other people saying Watchmen. Watchmen, I could take it or leave, because it ended on such a perfect note of like Regina King's character becoming possibly Dr. Manhattan, or it's left up to your interpretation of her being Dr. Manhattan. I don't know, because part of me is like, if she were to become Dr. Manhattan, where do you go? Like, she's God. Like, where do you go for a season 2 with her character? Like, she knows everything, she sees everything, she can do everything. Like, what would you do? What would you do with her character? But yeah, in terms of like, I'm not, definitely Lovecraft Country. Definitely Lovecraft Country. But yeah, like Jessica said, I was put on the spot, so it wasn't something I could think of. But yeah. Definitely Lovecraft Country. But yeah, hopefully we get more from Bianca. Again, Tim Burton shouldn't handle black characters. I know he didn't direct all of Wednesday, but there were certain things that they did with Bianca that I was just like, can we get more? And even though she wasn't ultimately the villain of the show, I still felt like it's the same tropes of like Sabrina, where it's like you got the black person that's the antagonist of, even though Wednesday's not white, but you still got the black person that's the antagonist. Not to say there shouldn't be black antagonists. There definitely should be black antagonists. And I've always said that, like, I want to see more iconic black villains, obviously, that aren't stereotypes. But if you think of like, especially in terms of like movie and TV shows, you think about like iconic villains, you get like Darth Vader, you get the Joker, you get Hans Gruber, Dr. Doom, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the iconic villains, none of them are really black. And I'm like, I want to see black iconic villains as well. It's just, I don't want them to be stereotyped. Like, I don't want to be crackheads, or the sassy black girl that's the villain to the white girl. So they kind of had some homages to that in Wednesday, but ultimately I'm glad, because I also saw people talking about Bianca on Twitter and them not being fans. But it's like, I feel like people that were saying that didn't watch the whole show, because ultimately she wasn't a villain, but there were still certain things about her character that like rubbed me the wrong way. So congrats on hitting 7,000. Thank you so much. No on the blonde wigs. It's too late. Already did Super Saiyan 2 Goku for anime NYC. And I got a lot of compliments on my Super Saiyan 2 Goku, because Black people should be allowed to cosplay whoever we want, race, ethnicity, whatever. So if I want to cosplay Goku, if I want to cosplay freaking Jean Grey, which I've done before, I did I dressed up as, you see Jean Grey in the back. Wait, which way am I pointing? You see her dressed up in her Phoenix. I had the Phoenix costume, and racist people are like, oh, that's a cool Dark Phoenix cosplay, and I'm like, I'm not Dark Phoenix though. Like, it's clearly a whole, like, Phoenix, you see over here, her costume is green and yellow. Dark Phoenix is red and yellow. It's a whole ass different costume. I'm like, if I was white, you wouldn't be calling me Dark Phoenix. Just but for the fact that I'm black, you're instantly calling me Dark Phoenix racist, because I'm not Dark Phoenix. I'm Phoenix. So miss me with that bullshit. But yeah, I was not a fan of the color contacts. I get it was to emphasize she. I saw a lot of people say that they weren't a fan of the contacts and they thought it was distracting. I didn't have a problem with the contacts, like, mostly because I'm like, yeah, they're trying to show she's a siren. She's not human. She's something other than. She's ethereal. Just like I didn't necessarily have a problem with the contacts of like Louis and a Vampire in Brooklyn. Wrong vampire product. But Louis and Interview with the Vampire, or even as distracting as her contacts were, I didn't have a problem with her contacts with Claudia, the big ass, and they were like huge, the big red contacts for Claudia. So I didn't really have a problem with I think Sharonda said the same thing. She didn't like the contacts, but like, yeah, I didn't really have a problem with the contacts. Jessica, she said Enid should have been queer, but it was annoyed to get that teen girl boy craze character. Yeah, you got to have, again, that's why I feel like a lot of them fit stereotypical tropes. You had to have the teen girl, whatever, that fit the kind of Valley Girl, the almost popular tropes or whatever. Even though despite that they're all a bunch of school of outcasts, they still fit certain roles. Where you have Bianca fitting the popular mean girl type of role, the one that knows it all or whatever. Enid, the Valley Girl, popular, dressing up in fashion. I'm popular. I'm cute. I've done it. Oh, what it was? No, I'm happy. I'm cute. I'm popular to boot. What was that from Bring It On or whatever it was? It's like, yeah. So you had to fit and then also it's like, but you didn't really get a lot from those characters. Like, I wanted to get more depth from them that you didn't really get. It almost seemed like they were saving it for season 2. I don't know, but yeah, that Enid should have been queer. There should have been somebody queer more in the main cast. So, were the Addams Family always Latina? I think so. I think the original creator always create, because I mean, Gomez to me sounds like a Latino last name. So I think they always were, but I know the Addams Family were created in like the 50s, and we know one of the 50s. So maybe they weren't. I don't know. Maybe that was the thing that happened when Raul Julia got cast. I'm not sure. But to me, because the first time I know the Addams Family is with Raul Julia, to me they're Latino. So who knows? I don't know about the original, but in my mind, yes, since the 90s. The actor that played Uncle Fester was good though. Yeah, I liked him as Uncle Fester. I thought he was good, but I will say, like, part of me was just like, I wish they cast because Gomez is Latino, a Latino man, a brown skinned Latino man. I was like, I wish Fester was also Latino. But he wasn't. He was played by what's that guy's name that's on Saturday Night Live that plays Joy Behar? So what? Who cares? Fred Armisen. There we go. Played by Fred Armisen. I thought he was good. I thought he was great as Fester, but I was just like, why couldn't have been a Latino man? Since it's supposed to be a Latino family. But do you think they will renew The Bastard Son of the Devil Himself? That show, I love that show so much. What I love most is that we got a black gay lead. I hope they review The Bastard Son of the Devil Himself. I enjoyed the first season. Like I said, if you haven't seen my review for The Bastard Son of the Devil Himself, check it out. I'll check out the show first, or check out my review, whatever, however you do it. But I hope they review it, mostly because I want to get some catharsis on, like, I want his sister to get got. No spoilers, but like, Yeah. And then, a black gay lead, and he's a magic user on top, or a black he's not gay, he's bisexual. So a black bisexual lead. So, and also a black bisexual magic user lead. So, I would like to see, and hopefully they get more black writers behind the scenes on that show. But I hope it gets the second season because I did enjoy it. First off, congratulations on 7K. Thank you so much. Second, what's your opinion? I had a feeling somebody was going to ask me this at some point. What's your opinion on Blurred Vision and his recent opinions? You guys used to see things the same, but now it's like you guys have two different perspectives. I'm not touching that second half of the question because I'm not a part of Blurred Vision anymore. So that's his thing. That's his views. Let him have his views. Let him have his perspectives. I don't know what's going on with that, but if you guys are following me on Instagram, obviously I'm not on Blurred Vision for a reason, but all I'm going to say is I was on Blurred Vision. It was the two of us. For those of you that, because I know there's certain people that said they've been following me since Blurred Vision. One day I was a co-host on that show for 4+ years. And then one day I woke up, there was an episode out and I wasn't on it and I knew nothing about it. So that's all I'm going to say. And so, I wish him the best, but I've moved on and I've grown and I've expanded beyond that. So but as far as that second half of the question, ask him. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely it's definitely become a alt-right incel type of space, but whatever. They want engagement from the queer community, but they don't want to write us in the shows. Regarding Wednesday, that's definitely what it was. Because I'm like, I thought it was weird. Why are you doing this advertisement from Wednesday and there's nobody queer in the show? So, I don't know. You didn't realize I was hurt to the last episode. Check your glasses. Maybe I need a stronger prescription, even though these are new. I did just get these in August. So they are brand new glasses and they are a different prescription. But I didn't realize it was the ginger bangs. I think it was the wig because I didn't realize it was. I didn't recognize Catherine Zeta-Jones from Chicago as Morticia. So there you go. I'm not the only one. Christina Ricci was so iconic in the Wednesday look. She surprised me in the show. I thought she was great. I mean, Christina Ricci is a great actor. So I saw some of her in even though I didn't watch all of it, but I watched some of it and then it ended up getting canceled. But there was a show that she starred in called Pan Am. And I started watching that because back then I was a flight attendant and it was a show about flight attendants. And Pan Am was originally, it was before it became Delta, and I worked for Delta. So I started watching Pan Am, and she was good in that too. And I actually learned, and it was that show that I learned, because I remember the first episode, they called her last minute to be at JFK. And she's like, it's going to take me a while to get there. And they're like, oh, if you could get to such and such location, we'll send you a helicopter. And I was like, what the fuck? They did that back then? What? No, absolutely not. I was like, there's no, absolutely not. They're not doing that shit today. It's like, they'll call you last minute. And it's like, you better pray to God you get there, because otherwise, oh, well. But the fact that they were they'll say, and that was based that was real. You get to a certain location, we'll send you a helicopter to get there. It was just must be nice. Those are the glory days of flying, where people dressed up for to be on planes and things like that. Wait a minute, I got another super chat here in the stream. Thank you so much from Visual Bandit. Thoughts on Motherland and Winx? Unfortunately, Visual Bandit, I'm going to disappoint you because I don't even know what Motherland is, and I've actually never watched Winx. I think I've seen one episode of Winx, and what I saw from the first episode wasn't enough to keep me interested, so I didn't stay watching it. And now it's canceled. So even if people say, "Oh, it gets really good towards later episodes," it's canceled. I'm not going to end up watching it. But Motherland, I don't even, what is Motherland? So Yeah, what is Motherland? Is that a supernatural fantasy show? What network is that on? Is that on Netflix? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, what is Motherland? Don't forget Bleach. I don't watch Bleach. That's too many episodes. Like same thing with One Piece. So many episodes. Or Naruto. Like I wasn't watching anime during like the Naruto craze. So like now it's too many episodes. I'm not like if it's more than like because I didn't grow up watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I did recently start. I finished Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but like that's like 60 episodes. I can do that. Naruto is like a billion episodes. One Piece is a billion and 10 episodes. Bleach is like it's too many. It's too many episodes. It's too many. I can barely keep up with the shit I can keep up with now, let alone having to go back and watch a bunch of stuff. Andrew Donegan, you're gonna hit 10K soon. From your lips to the YouTube algorithm's ears. Well, fingers crossed, fingers, arms, legs, eyes, all of it, toes, all of it crossed that I hit 10K. I gotta go shopping, but congrats again. Well, get me something. Christmas time is coming around the corner, and I do have a PO box. If you guys ever wanted to send me something, and I'll do like an unboxing on like TikTok or whatever, my PO box is in the description. In the description, if you ever wanted to be like, "Hey, Michael, here's something for Chris." Again, it's not something I expect. It's just there for people like just in case. It's mostly for because I get like PR boxes from companies. I was like, you know what? Let me get a PO box. I don't want to just give out my address. So like, I have one right here where Disney sent me this book. Rick Riordan presents Sarah Boating's Guide to Vampire Hunt. If you can see, it's a little black girl and her black friends on it, and they're vampire hunters. So, talking about books that I got that I need. This is definitely on the list of something that I need to read, but I can read the synopsis real quick for you book lovers out there, just in case it might be something you want to check out. It's currently out. But it says for most kids, catching fireflies is just a fun activity. For 12-year-old Sarah Boating, it's just a matter of life or death. That's because she knows some fireflies are actually Adzi, shape-shifting vampires from the forests of southeastern Ghana. So it's based on Ghanaian mythology. For generations, a secret society of slayers like Sarah and her parents have protected the world from their threats. But when a group of Adzis led by a powerful witch destroys her home while searching for a magic drum, do Sarah's parents take her with them on their quest to defeat her? No. They dump Sarah with her aunt and cousin in the middle of Nowheresville, Maryland, for her own safety. Now, instead of crossbows and battle armor, she's dealing with mean girls and algebra. Just as Sarah starts to get the hang of being a normal kid, and an Adzi is spelled Adze. Adzi, I think that's how, or it could be pronounced someplace another way. An Adzi infiltrates her school. It's up to her to assemble a team of her classmates and get them into monster fighting shape before they all become Firefly food, sorry. And when she uncovers a secret that upends everything she thought she knew about her family, Sarah will have to decide which side of herself, normal girl or slayer, is the real one. After all, 7th grade is hard enough without throwing vampires into the mix. And just to cover, like, this is what I love to see. Black people of all ages, regardless, being the ones that are the chosen ones, being the ones that are saving the world, being the ones that will be the most powerful person in the room, being the ones that are the leads of their own fantasy stories. It's based in Ghanaian mythology, stuff that we don't really see. And it's YA, like how many even though Katniss was described as having darker olive skin, but then you cast freaking, even though I loved her in the role, but you cast Jennifer Lawrence in it, and but yeah, I'm not even gonna go on that rant, but like I said, like it says on the shirt, which if you want to get you a shirt, which is part of my Black Gay Comic Geek merch, decolonize your fantasy, you get that in the link below, because I do have merch. And that's something that going back to that book. That's another example of decolonizing your fantasy, reading things other than fantasy written by straight white men or even straight white women, because that's one of the main reasons I got on the whole decolonize your fantasy kick. Like when I was like putting away my bookshelf and looking at all the books that I own and have read, I was like, damn, most of these books, Stephen King, like a lot of these fantasy books that I've read and been exposed, like they're all written by white people. I don't really have any black fantasy books. And so I went on this kick of like buying and consuming black fantasy, Octavia Butler, and getting books like this, N.K. Jemisin, the Broken Earth trilogy. I can't think of her name. Tomi Adeyemi, Children of Blood and Bone. Her sequel, Children of Vengeance and Virtue, something like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Decolonize your fantasy. So I don't even know how I got on that. Oh yeah, talking about my P.O. box. Yeah, if you want P.O. box, you want to send me something. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. There we go. There we fucking go. Thank you, Andre. Did you ever elaborate on your thoughts on the brief black queer moment acknowledgement near the end of Wakanda 2? I actually did. I talked about it. I think I talked about it in my Wakanda Forever review. I'm not sure which review. I don't know if it was the spoiler review or the non-spoiler review. But I also talked about it on TikTok because that's something I would talk about more. So both places. Like I said, I talked about it here. I don't remember if it was the spoiler review or the non-spoiler review. So check that out. But I also talked about it on TikTok as well. But I thought it was trash. I could briefly talk about it here. Well, I was just like, as much as they talk about and push for like Ryan Coogler talks about representation and representation matter and representing native indigenous heritage, black heritage, yada yada yada. And the fact that we got like a blink and you'll miss it gay moment, like what about queer representation? What about black queer representation? And I don't fully put this on the shoulders of Ryan Coogler because at the end of the day, he's still working for Disney. So I don't know how much of it was Ryan Coogler and then how much of it was Disney. But the movie was 3 hours, damn near 3 hours long. We could have at least got a scene of Ayo and Anika having a conversation with each other outside of just the thank you, my love. Like, I can kiss my niece on her forehead. Like, nothing about that really. Yeah, it was trash. I talked about it. Like I said, I talked about it more on TikTok and the other sport. I'm not going to go fully into, but trash. Like, this is why I keep saying representation matters and representation equals normalization. Like, come on. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, and I get, and you can't even say it's to appeal to the Chinese audience because even that little ass kiss, and I actually should probably talk about this on TikTok too, but even that small kiss, that thank you, my love, even that little kiss got the movie banned in China. The movie is not playing in China. So if you know that's going to happen, if you know that the Chinese, not the Chinese audience, more so the Chinese government, if you know they're going to have a backlash with it, and you still know that you can make money without the Chinese audience. And so because of that, I don't think this movie is going to make as much as the first Black Panther movie because it's not playing in China, but it's still making money. But you've proven before with even Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because that didn't play in China either, because they weren't a fan of Kasimu Liu, who's another husband of mine. He said some comments about the Chinese government that they weren't fans of, and so they didn't play Shang-Chi in China. But it still made a bunch of money. So that goes to show, and even Eternals didn't play in China, and it still made a bunch of money. It goes to show that you don't need the Chinese audience. Yeah, if you wanted to hit $1 billion, you need the Chinese audience. But if you still want to make a profit, you don't need the Chinese audience. So if you're going to do it, knowing it's going to get banned in certain countries, just go all the way, because they're going to ban it regardless of what you do, unless you're willing to take it out completely, which they said with like Eternals, they weren't willing to do. They said, no, we're not taking the scene out, which I appreciate them for. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Black Panther if they're going to take that scene out. I mean, if they do take it out, it's not going to change anything from the movie. So they might take it out. Unlike something like Eternals, I feel like if they take that scene out, it changes the movie. But like Wakanda Forever, it doesn't change anything for the movie. So for that reason, they might take it out. But like, if you're gonna do it, go all the way, because they're gonna ban it anyway. So like, fuck them. Not Chinese people, but the Chinese government and also the Middle Eastern government. Arab Muslim countries, it's African countries that are like, no, we're not showing. Fuck them. Representation equals normalization. There are gay people in the world, and we deserve to be seen in movies. And I feel bad for like gay people in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, gay people in China that are like, you're living in such a repressive regime that aren't allowing things like that to be seen. And then it's also like they try to act like gay people don't exist in their countries. It's like it's trash. And as much as like there's a lot of anti-gay backlash in America, like they talk about ever since Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, anti-gay rhetoric has gone up at like 52% on Twitter. It's still nothing compared to like anti-black because like they say anti-black rhetoric has went up 202% on Twitter, and I'm black and gay, but like even despite that, or like all the anti-gay bills, the don't say gay bill that was introduced in Florida, all of that stuff that's happening in America, I still am very much more privileged than a lot of these other people living in other countries. And I feel sad for like a queer youth growing up in all these other countries that don't really get to see themselves because they're banned. Like this type of representation is banned in those countries, and it's trash. It's hella trash. Are you going to see Creed? Yes, I am going to see Creed. Like, first and foremost, I saw the first Creed movies, and I really enjoyed the first Creed movies, and I have the first Creed movies on Blu-ray. But come on, like, did you see the poster? Shirtless Michael B. Jordan? Like, come on, Michael bust all over my face, Jordan. And then shirtless Jonathan Majors. That's all I need. All I need to see is them just standing there shirtless the whole movie. I don't even need plot. Just let them be shirtless and give me a hug. Have them hug in the whole movie, and I'll be satisfied. So I'm definitely going to see Creed in theaters. So yeah. Maybe recency bias, but I feel like Wakanda Forever handled grief better than WandaVision. I mean, it could be a little, and I think part of it is also because like with WandaVision, and I don't necessarily fault them at it, because with WandaVision, they were playing grief. It was about Wanda. It was about the grief of Wanda grieving Vision and wanting to have a life with WandaVision. I mean, wanting to have a life with Vision. And it was about like a robot, more or less. She lost her vibrator, she lost her sex toy. And not to diminish that or whatever, because Vision was sentient, but it was more what's the word I'm trying to use? It was fictional, basically, in that sense of like you were able to like take a step back from it. And then also, like, there was no real grief behind it. She lost a CGI character. But in Wakanda Forever, there was real grief in Wakanda Forever. It was the cast. Wakanda Forever was about the cast coming together to grieve their friend and colleague, Chadwick Boseman, their real life lived experience of grieving the life of Chadwick Boseman. And also remember, like, and Ryan Coogler talked about this, which I recommend you guys check out. There's actually a Wakanda Forever sponsored by Marvel podcast. Episode 1 is currently out, and the first episode is Ta-Nehisi Coates interviewing Ryan Coogler. I think episode 2 drops in January, which I'm like, damn, that's a long time between episode 1 and 2. But Ryan Coogler was talking about how the script for Wakanda Forever was done with Chadwick Boseman in it. And he found out, like, he actually called Chadwick Boseman to be like, hey, do you want to read the script or yada, yada, yada. And then he found out like 2 weeks later that he passed. So this is the real life Ryan. I was about to say Ryan Reynolds, wrong Ryan. But this is the real life Ryan Coogler writing his grief through the rewriting of the script of Wakanda Forever. And then also he's writing the characters grieving their king, their Black Panther. And so you have the actors grieving, and then you have the characters grieving. And then through that, you have the characters and actors allowing the audience to grieve both T'Challa and Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman. So because of that, I feel like that's why it's a better handling of grief, because you're handling real grief and you're handling real emotions and you're handling the grieving of there's more stakes to the grief of losing Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa and the Black Panther than there are stakes with WandaVision, more or less. So I think that's why. Yeah, Sharonda is the queen. I agree with that. Like, Sharonda is one of the people that I looked up to in terms of like starting this, jumping into this YouTube journey, because she is like one of the most, I don't know if she's one of the most or if she's the most biggest Black woman movie reviewer on YouTube. So like, she's definitely somebody I look up to, and the fact that I can call her a colleague, the fact that I got her number in my phone. She called me the other day, but I was watching, so I was like, I ain't answering the phone. I'm watching My Hero Academia. I'll talk to you later. But the fact that I get phone calls from Sharonda, the fact that I could text her, the fact that I could be like, yo, I want to do a Wednesday. You want to pull up? Like, if you would have told me that, like, when I first started, I would have never in a million years. Absolutely not. Never. And I think she and I might be hanging out next week, because she told me she's going to be in New York next week. And so she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, let me know, and I'll hop on the train. So I'm like, yeah, like, and I wouldn't, again, 7,000. I wouldn't have gotten to this point without you guys. She'd be like, who? I'm not talking to this mother for like, who is that? I don't know who this person is. But dang, we've been going for almost 2 hours, so I'm not gonna go that much longer. But how to Motherland Fort Salem is on Hulu. What is that about? Oh, here it is. Motherland Fort Salem is a 3-season series on Freeform about militarized witches trying to assimilate into America. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Let's look at the Winx. Winx is not good, but yeah, it's 3 seasons, so I'm behind. I've never even heard of this show. How have I never heard of this show? Are they black witches? That's probably too much. That's probably too much to ask. That's probably too much to ask for. Probably not. But I'm gonna have to check that out. And especially now that, like, with Mayfair Witches coming out. But like, yeah, so it's definitely gonna have to be on my list. It's too many shows, like, but also shows, movies, the anime, the video, like comics, like it's too much, guys. It's too much. Which I appreciate that we're living in this era. I appreciate that especially of like fantasy content more specifically. But like, I can't keep up. I'm only one person. Black Gay Comic Geek, even though I turned it into an LLC and it is a business, it is a one-man army business. I can't keep up with everything, and I can't review everything. And then sometimes I'll watch things not to review. I'm watching it just because I want to watch it, and I'm enjoying it for my own. Sometimes I'll be like, I should review this, but I'm like, I don't feel like I just want to enjoy it for myself. But yeah, that's what the B stands for. Michael Bust All Over My Face Jordan. In case you guys were wondering what the B in Michael B. Jordan stood for, that's exactly what it stands for. Even though, as fine as Michael B. Jordan is, he gives me, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, because then next thing you know, God, I get to the point that I'm able to interview actors, and then he finds out I said this. But he gives me like, he don't know what to fucking do. Like, he gives me lame dick energy. But like, that's fine. Just let me let me stop. But anyway, yeah, Kindred. I'm definitely gonna watch Kindred. I don't know if I'm gonna review Kindred, but I'm gonna watch Kindred. Actually, and funny enough, talking about books that I own that I haven't watched, Kindred is another one that I own. Like, I bought Kindred, I own Kindred, haven't read it. I read the first chapter, and I was gonna read, like, because what was it? 2017. That's when I got on the whole decolonize your fantasy kit. And I was like, it wasn't 2017. It was 2019. No, 2017. Bought a whole bunch of fantasy books. And I was like, I'm going to consume everything. And then I read one chapter of Kindred, and then I started watching TV and stuff like that. And that was 2017, guy. No, it was 2019. 2019. No, it was 2020 because it was during COVID. It was during COVID. Oh no, not a Kindred movie. There's gonna be a series dropping on December 13th, I think, on Hulu, I believe. I don't know if it's Hulu, but it's a TV series dropping for Kindred. But anyway, I read the first chapter of Kindred, and that was in 2020. And that's all I'm gonna say. Ask me like how much of it have I read since? Again, I'm terrible, but I will get to it. I've had Harry Potter, the books, for like 10 plus years. And it wasn't until 2018 that I finally actually read the books for Harry Potter. So it might take me 10 years, another 10 years to read Kindred. Who knows? But like, even with like Audible, I have access to Audible because I have a friend of mine that worked for Audible. And so because of that, she gets free unlimited downloads for Audible. So I can listen to any audiobook that I want for free. And I downloaded mad audiobooks, and I haven't listened to almost none of them because it's just too much. It's too much to consume in a day. And like, this is a book that I really want to read. It's not a fantasy related book, but I went to the Strand bookstore in New York, and I was just walking around because they have a lot of gay books, like a lot of indie gay books in the Strand bookstore. And I was like, oh, what is this? Boys Come First. And I was like, that's what he said. I was like, yeah, boys come first. Yeah, all right. And then I read the synopsis, and I found out it was a gay book. And I read like the first paragraph of the first chapter. And based on the first paragraph, I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm totally gonna read this book. And then I listened to the audiobook, and I was like, oh, the reader of the audiobook is really good. And so, but even despite really being interested in this book, more than likely, I'm not going to read it for like another 10 years. But just to like sell you on the first chapter, I'm gonna read the first paragraph of the first chapter that made me go, oh, I'm definitely reading this book. I better not get my black ass pulled over in hoe ass, bitch ass Philadelphia. Oh, hold up. I should probably let me pull it up because I'm reading it down here, and I'm like, let me get some better lighting. I better not get my black ass pulled over in hoe ass, bitch ass Pennsylvania, Dominic Gibson thought to himself for what must have been the 40th time, speeding westward through the Keystone State in a rented Kia Soul that could barely maintain the 85-ish miles per hour he'd been doing since he first merged onto I-80 coming out of Manhattan. So yeah, the fact that it opened with I better not get my bitch ass hoe ass black ass pulled over, I was like, oh, I'm in this book. And then it's gay. So I'm just like, and then they talk more about like his parents and everything like that. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm in. Sign me up. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it with this live. I wasn't planning on going for almost 2 hours. I only wanted to go for an hour. But oh yeah, so somebody actually read. I enjoyed the Boys Comes First audiobook. Yeah, the audiobook is pretty good. But I gotta go, y'all. But make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button, folks, and stay freaking awesome. Love you, Michael. Well, I love you too, Jessica. That's my best friend in the stream, who I made a moderator. Which actually, I need to add some more moderators on the channel for all my regulars. So for those of you that are interested in being moderators on my live stream, it's basically just you have the power. Anybody, even though I don't really have too many of those. I haven't really had to block anybody for the most part of saying something off the wall. And then I also have certain words blocked. So like, even if you wanted to come in here and call me a fag or anything like that, like you can't, because that word is blocked. But in case anybody comes in here trying to say something crazy or whatever, that's basically what a moderator is. And so if anybody's interested in being a moderator on a live stream, let me know and I'll hit me up, and then I'll make you a moderator. But wait a minute. The Joshua Collective got a $5 super chat. Speaking of shows and book reviewers, slash critics. Do you think there's still a room for more Black people to occupy that YouTube space? Absolutely. YouTube has over billions of views per, I don't know if it's per month or whatever, but YouTube is a huge space. There are 8 billion people on the planet, and everybody likes different things, and then everybody watches different people for different things, and then everybody has different personalities and different things that they bring to the table. So there's absolutely more space, especially for Black reviewers and content creators and things like that. The only thing that you have to figure out is what makes you different from Sharonda, what makes you different from me, what makes you different from Movie Files, what makes you different from Just My Opinion, what makes you different from E-Man Reviews, what makes you different from Straw Hat Goofy, who does reviews on TikTok, etc., etc. That's the thing that you have to figure out. Like, what's your lane into content creation that makes people want to watch you versus them? So, like, obviously, me being Black Gay Comic Geek, there aren't really that many Black gay movie reviewers in this space. So that's what makes me different. And I always say, like, blood, sex, gore, and magic. Like, and then also, I'm mostly talking about fantasy and sci-fi. Like, you're not gonna see me talking about, oh, the Oscars came out, the Oscar nominations came out. You're not gonna see me talking about that. I could give a flying fuck, to be perfectly honest. There are people that probably want me to talk about that, but I don't really care about it. So I'm not going to. Ren Zevalus Brown. Okay. All right. So what did you think of P-Valley? I actually haven't finished season 1 of P-Valley. I got to like episode 6 of so I do got to finish P-Valley, but based on what I've seen, like, I love it so far. I love it so far. And the reason I wasn't on the P-Valley train from the beginning is because I didn't have stars. I didn't have a stars account. And people kept saying, oh, you need to talk about P-Valley. Oh, you're a Black gay man. You're not reviewing P-Valley. And I'm like, are y'all going to pay for my stars account? Like, y'all telling me to review this, and I don't hear nobody volunteering for me for stars. But I ended up getting it. I ended up doing the 7-day free trial. And then I still have it. But I haven't finished. I need, which actually, thanks for reminding me, I need to go back and finish season 1. But like, based on what I've seen, I love it so far. Like, yeah, so I definitely need to finish season 1 of P-Valley to then jump into season 2 and get ready for when season 3 drops. And then maybe join Sharonda, because I know Sharonda does live review. I don't think it's something I would review on my channel. But like, I would definitely jump in on like Sharonda's reviews of P-Valley. But yeah, I love it. I love it so far. Are you planning on reviewing The Peripheral? I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to. Who's calling me? There we go. Sorry, my brother was calling me in the middle of the stream. But anyway, yeah, I don't think it's something I would. What was I saying? Oh, The Peripheral. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. So, but yeah, let me know. Also, have you heard of Tangerine? I have not heard of Tangerine. It's a queer holiday comedy with a Black trans lead, but I would definitely look that up. Thanks for letting me know. But no, I haven't heard of Tangerine, actually. I'm sure you haven't, but it would be great to show the. No, I haven't heard of it. So, which, speaking of, let me shout out. You talk about trans representation. Do I have it right next to me? There's a book, again, adding to the things that I get, decolonizing fantasy of representation. Here it is. Fantasy story with a trans lead, a trans Latino lead, called Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Just dropping these recommendations for you, because again, decolonize your fantasy. But a really quick synopsis: Yadriel has summoned a ghost, and now he can't get rid of him. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes determined to prove himself a real brujo. So it's following a trans man, written by a trans man, with the help of his cousin and best friend Martiza. He performs the quinces ritual himself. and then he sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin Miguel and set it free. However, the ghost he summons is actually uh, Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy, and Julian is not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and tie up some loose ends before he leaves. Left with no choice, Yadriel agrees to help Julian so that they can both get what they want. But the longer Yadriel spends with Julian, the less he wants to let him leave. So basically, he falls in love with the ghost. And so, yeah, and I've heard it got good reviews. So it's not because it's based on a trans story. That's not the only reason I got it, but I also heard it was pretty good. And then they're brown Latino people. So the I think this is Yadriel, and I think this might be the ghost. Or maybe this is the ghost. I don't know. All I know is I see brown Latino people on the cover, and it's trans. So yeah, again, decolonize your fantasy. But I got so many recommendations, or I can't even call it recommendations because I haven't read it. But I have so many books that I picked up that I can recommend. And I actually thought about starting, like, you know how Instagram does subscriptions? I actually thought about doing a subscription, but then I was like, is anybody going to really pay for it? I don't know, but I thought about doing subscriptions of like of those that did of like starting like a book club and like all of like my book recommendations that we talk about, and that'll probably force me to read these books, and then we could talk about them and then recommend each other books and things like that. But I remember I did on stories. I was like, hey guys, if I were doing Instagram, if I did Instagram subscriptions, would you guys be interested? And then what would you I said, would you pay for it? And then what would you be interested in seeing from me? And I didn't really get any responses from that. So it told me, I was like, oh, I guess nobody's interested. So that was a main thing, maybe made me not, but it was always something I was thinking about, but I didn't really get any good response. I didn't get a good response from it. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind then. But again, my goal for next year is to figure out ways to make this into obviously I've been doing that before this year, but like really solidifying, making this into a viable career, as opposed to, because like I mentioned, for those of you that weren't here in the beginning of the stream, I talked about how I've been able to get a lot of opportunities this last half of the year, where it's either getting invited to D23 red carpets. I did a sponsored video for Netflix on TikTok for Stranger Things. They paid me to make that video. I have a sponsorship deal with Viz Media where I'm getting paid to read 8 manga throughout the year and giving my review on that on TikTok and things like that. Like, I want to get more of those. So again, I could turn this so I could turn this into a career. So that's why I say super chats are greatly appreciated. I appreciate super chats because right now, outside of unemployment, that's my only income. And unemployment only lasts but so long. Unemployment is 23 weeks. And I don't know. I think I'm in 6. I don't know how many weeks I am right now, but I've been unemployed since August. And I want this to be my job. So yeah, the goal is to try to figure out how to get more brand deals and sponsorships and all that other stuff. But anyway, with that said, guys, I thank you for joining me on this live. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you in the chat. I appreciate all of you with your questions. I appreciate all of you that left super chats. I appreciate y'all that have hit the like button. There were people that were watching and left likes and comments on Facebook. Thank you for getting me to 7,000 subscribers. Hopefully, we can get to 8,000. We can get to 9. I want to get to the point where I could be like a Dragon Ball Z. It's over 9,000. Let me be able to say that, guys. So thank you for joining me on the stream. Now I'm going to go get something to eat because I'm hungry. Every time I say that, I don't know if you guys are Rugrats fans, but this is a throwback. There's this character that was a baby. They would be like, hi, my name is Tommy Pickles. And the baby would be like, Pickles, I'm hungry. So that's what I thought of when I was like, I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm hungry. And shout out to my fellow Libra in the stream and all my fellow Libras in the stream. But with that, guys, thank you so much. Check out my review for Spoiler Alert, which I just dropped right before I started going live. Also, check out my review for what else did I post? I posted one review a day these last couple of days. But if you haven't, check out those reviews, because I don't know, for whatever reason right now they're flopping in the algorithm right now on YouTube. Violent Night, Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, and Violent Night. So if you haven't, check out Violent Night. Is currently out in theaters. So check that out. And then also check out my review for spoiler alert. Check out all my other chat. Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the algorithm. Even if you're not even interested in Violent Night, let it play on your phone as you're watching TV, and then hit the like button and just leave a comment for the algorithm. But anyway, with that said, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you join me for the next live, which I'm not sure when that'll be. I know for a fact I'm going live in January for the Mayfair Witches, so definitely join me for that. Hit the bell notification button, and I'll also be reviewing Avatar: The Way of the Water, which it may end up being good, but I'm not that excited about. But I'm seeing it next week with Fantastic Frankie. We got a screener for it, so we're seeing it next week. And so yeah, with that, and thank you so much, Naris. I was actually nervous about going live. Last thing I'll say, I was actually nervous about going live because I mentioned, for those of you that watch my lives, usually when I do lives, I do it with other people, and I have a conversation. So then that way, God forbid, like, if nobody shows up to the live stream, we can still have a conversation between the two of us. But like with this live, I'm by myself. If nobody showed up to the live, or people showed up and they weren't participating in the chat, this live would have went nowhere. And because it's the middle of the day, I started at 1:00. I'm like, yeah, it's Saturday. People might be out. God forbid I go live and this goes nowhere. Like, I'd have been embarrassed. And I'd be like, dang, nobody showed. Because like I said, this is like, because I don't really do too many of these, and I probably should do more. But then I'm like, how many Q&As can I do? Like, it's only but so many questions, like, or whatever. Like, but I don't know. But I was just like, I think the last time I've done this was like maybe like two years ago. But I was just like, I was nervous. Like, even before I went live, my heart was beating. And usually when I go live, I'm just like, whatever. Because I was like, dang, how many people are going to show up? But I appreciate y'all. Y'all made it fun. And so we'll do this again when I hit 8,000 subscribers. So let's get me to that point. But with that, guys, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go get something to eat, and we out.